Welcome to NocBro Nation.
Welcome back, guys. Jarrell here.
And I am Josh. And has Robert Kirkman finally given us the cause of the zombie apocalypse?
Yeah, guys, so this came out a while ago. We didn't immediately do a video on it just because it's like, well, he could be telling the truth, he could be lying, but it is something that we should talk about because there are a couple instances from Kirkman about an alien invasion that could speak truth to what he said. So so real quick, if you guys aren't aware, I think a few weeks ago, a fan tweeted at Robert Kirkman and asked, since the comic book has now ended, why don't you tell us how the zombie apocalypse started? And Kirkman replied with 2 words, Space Spore. So
now, I actually really like that theory. It'd be so cool because, Spore is, I think that's a microorganism. So something came down through our planet like an asteroid and carried this space spore. And when it exploded, it got on maybe animals in the air, and it got then eventually getting into our bloodstream. And there you go. I would probably guess air. That way because everyone's breathing it, right? And because obviously, if you're a fan of The Walking Dead, you know that when you die, you turn.
So you have it.
So we all have it.
Yeah.
So that would, lead some credence into, hey, this thing was caused by space spore.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of fits. I mean, it's cool. I mean, you think about it, because if you think about viruses and how things begin, like the Black Plague. I mean, there's things from rats and, just other animal species of how different viruses and things can get out, and then it, of course, mutates over time.
Well, look at what the world's currently going through.
Exactly, we're almost living in a zombie apocalypse.
Fast.
Yeah, it spreads fast.
This isn't the first time that space and aliens has been mentioned about The Walking Dead. Matter of fact, Robert Kirkman, when pitching the idea for the comic book, had told the powers to be, or whoever was deciding to bring this on, Image, I'm assuming, or others.
Image. Yeah.
He said, they asked him, I think it was when it was 4 issues in, they had asked him, okay, what caused this? And he told them aliens.
Right. Well, no, actually, he was pitching this to Image to be even started.
Yeah. Jim was absolutely right. I pitched The Walking Dead, and he said, there's no successful zombie books in this industry. Like, you need to have a hook. Your book has to be about something, which is, really fundamental and was something that I didn't really do much of in my early days. So he's like, you can't just do like a book where it's like the zombie apocalypse and people are surviving. Like, you need to have some kind of extra thing going on. And I just said, I don't know, we got that. There's like an alien invasion, and the aliens are just using the zombies to weaken the world's infrastructure so they can take over, and we're going to reveal that like later on in the book. So it seems like it's this mundane, zombie movie that never ends, boring thing, but it's really this like kick-ass sci-fi book that's going to really wow people later on. And he was like, oh, that sounds cool. So the book got approved, but I was lying. So and Eric Stevenson, who's the publisher at Image now, was the marketing director at Image at the time. And the first issue saw print, came out, was in stores, and it really did kind of catch on right off the bat, which was new for me because most everything I had done up to that point had been an absolutely abysmal, embarrassing failure. And so the fact that, reorders were really high and sales on the subsequent issues were starting to spike up was a big deal. And he called and was like, congratulations, things are going well. And, I read the first issue and, it's really great. Really, really enjoying the story. And gotta tell you though, I didn't see any hints to this alien plot. Is there anything, is there something I missed, or is that gonna come in later? And I just said, Eric, I lied to you guys. There's no aliens in this book. And he went, probably better for it. So...
And even Kirkman, he admitted that when somebody did ask him about the origin, he actually said it's a crazy sci-fi thing that would make the story even weirder. So he's even said numerous times that it could be a crazy sci-fi thing, but he's never going to reveal truly.
In my opinion, guys, I think that he is telling the truth. Like, this was something that happened from aliens, whether that be an alien invasion or an alien space spore. I think he's telling the truth, but it's just how did it happen is he's obviously not giving the details.
Yeah.
Now,
he did go into some details. You want to start this?
Yeah, so going off of the whole sci-fi thing, in the single issue of issue 75, there is an alternate ending at the end of that book. And if you read the compendiums or if you read the trade paperbacks, it's not in there. You have to have the single issue for this.
So, side story here, guys. Before we actually started this video, we were talking about issue 75 and this alternate ending that's in the back of issue 75. I did not believe Jerome. Because when I read The Walking Dead, I started around issue 140s, in the 140s. Mm-hmm. I had picked it up late, but I started with the compendiums. So I read 3 compendiums to get caught up and then went to the single issues. So I completely glossed over issue 75.
Right.
So when he told me this, like, you're full of crap.
And that's the thing, because it's drawn in color, so it's in color. So I was flipping through the compendium, and it's like, yeah, it's not in there. They're going to take it out for the compendium. They want it to be with the single issue.
I still didn't believe you.
Yeah, you still didn't believe me. I was like, I hope, because I didn't bring my issue. I was like, I hope he has 75 so I could show him. But basically, so at the end of 75, this is kind of at the beginning of Rictatorship in Alexandria, where he's kind of going crazy.
That's how 75 ends.
That's how 75 ends.
The actual issue ends with Rictatorship.
Yeah. So in the alternate, after Michonne hits him over the head, in the ultimate version of it, you see like Rick is talking with Michonne, and in black and white, you see like a flash of light. Then it cuts to the alternate, which is all in color. Rick wakes up from, you would think, a coma from the beginning. No, just a coma from getting knocked out, maybe. And he sees a kind of a superhero kind of like weird suit that he puts on. But when he goes outside,
he's got on a metal arm.
He's got on a bionic arm. He walks outside, and it's a full alien invasion, right?
Yeah.
He sees Tyrese. Tyrese tells him, he asks Tyrese, am I dead? And he says, no, the aliens have been gathering us as we died, turning us into super soldiers for their army, but we revolted.
Now, there's something to remember about, or that to key in to what Tyrese says. Mm-hmm. The aliens take us after we die.
After you die.
So obviously Tyrese was dead by this point, I think.
I guess.
And then we turn to Martinez, who passed away early on in the issues, who then goes into a spiel about how Rick is probably wise for making the decision of killing him, but now's not the time to discuss that.
Right, because everything's cool now.
Yeah.
But then the big reveal comes from Michonne, who tells us that everything that they've been going through was a diabolical plan from the unknown alien civilization coming here for our water. They brought the downfall of civilization by causing our dead to come back to life and attack them. Now they are rounding us up, forever who's left, and attempting to turn us into a slave race. And right at the end of that, she's killed by the governor.
And not just killed by the governor.
Clean off.
Like, brutally destroyed by the governor.
Yeah. Lori is enslaved by the governor. You see Lori here in the panel.
Almost like a Princess Leia type situation.
Right. And then the governor is asking Rick, like, join us or die. Like,
yeah, and he's got an alien behind him.
So that was the weirdest alternate ending that could be, but it fits. It kind of goes into his sci-fi alien invasion thing. So
yeah.
I think he even mentioned in the letters that for their 75th issue they threw that in there just to have a gag funny thing. And,
be a
troll.
It was really fun to read that. It's so interesting that I'm years past reading this issue at that time, and I never knew that was happening. So I read it in real time in front of Jarrell, and I'm like, what is going on?
I told him that I remember, because I was reading the single issues. I was like, I remember reading that, and I was like, what the heck is this? Just must be some gag thing, right? And then when articles were coming out about Robert Kirkman saying this, and they mentioned that issue 75, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's where they're kind of maybe getting some of this stuff. But, so guys, I guess in our full-on opinion, do we believe he's telling the truth? Could it work? Yeah, it could work.
Yeah.
Anything's possible.
I tell you what, I definitely like the space spore idea better than the alternate issue in 175.
Yeah. Aliens coming for our water? No.
Yeah, it's possible.
Well, yeah. I mean,
it's very possible.
It's a big resource.
It's been done in movies before.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just like the
spore, the space
unknown of the space spore coming down, and and how that affected,
how it infected us.
Yeah.
And how long ago?
Yeah.
How long ago?
Well, people have been dying for generations, so you got to think that it was
Probably recent then.
Somebody dies every second. I would say in the
so
world. You see what I'm saying?
We're not talking about the beginning of civilization. We're talking only about in the Walking Dead storyline.
Yeah.
So what a meteor crashing down when the apocalypse started, and it spread very quickly into the air without us knowing, and it got into our bloodstream. And boom! The first person died, and it started.
Yeah. So you got to take a look at that first person dying, which.
Yeah.
You know, people die every second in the world. So it would have been something that happened and infected us pretty damn quickly if it was a space spore.
Yeah.
But that's awesome to think about.
It's cool. I mean, I'm excited if he is telling the truth or not. I mean, he's kind of said in weird interviews, I think he said, yeah, I might, maybe in an interview or something, I might let it slip of how it started. But
he's also said he would never say.
True. But that's the thing, though. He's said little things in interviews. Now he's doing a tweet, which it's not really an interview, but it's another source to where he could kind of throw in little things to hint at that could be real.
How badass would it be if you're that fan? Like you tweet at Robert Kirkman, you don't expect to be tweeted back at. You don't expect for him to reply.
That dude's Twitter probably blew.
You're throwing that out there just to shot in the dark, throw it out there, and he replies to you.
He replies,
dude. I would take that, screenshot it, print it. Frame it.
Save it. If you're watching our channel, I'm sure other channels have talked about it. So the person who tweeted at Robert Kirkman and got that reply, save that.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure your Twitter account blew up because big article companies are taking your tweet and referencing it because of creating all this news for everybody.
You know what I'd do?
Yeah.
I'd take a shot of Michonne getting brutally murdered on one side of the frame, and on the other side of the frame, space spore.
Yeah. Yeah, so if he's telling the truth, I think a space spore could work. It's just an unknown entity started it all. You know, we may never know. Kirkman may never reveal it if, he was just, trolling us or not. But it's something cool to talk about. Let us know what you think. Do you think a space spore could work? Or do you think it could be anything else? I mean, any ideas would just be a shot in the dark, but who knows? It could work.
I think this is the most logical, to be honest, unfortunately.
For sure. So, make sure you guys, if you don't have issue 75 and you're a Walking Dead fan, make sure you grab it and definitely check out that alternate ending. It's hilarious. Make sure you smash the like button. Feel free to subscribe and stay tuned for more Walking Dead info from us. I'm Jarrell.
I'm Josh.
We're NocBro Nation.
We're out.